welcome back. We are now on to part 6 of the games in the basement. Talking about where they came from, what I did to them, roughly how much money I have into them, and stuff like that. So the next 5 games we're going to talk about, the first one is going to be Elevator Action. Now, Elevator Action, my microphone just fell. Hold on one second. The Elevator Action came from Southern Ohio. I went to Southern Ohio to pick it up a while ago, years ago, and I had picked it up with the jump bug cabinet. I picked up both cabinets at the same time. I'm trying to put this microphone back on my camera here. Okay, I got it mounted back on there. Okay, so the Elevator Action and the jump bug cabinet both came from the same guy. I had drove out to his house after working all day and picked them both up. I wanted to pick up more than one cabinet at a time because it was a far drive and I did not want to just go there with only one cabinet. So I went there originally for the jump bug, and then I found out that he had some Tato cabinets, so I also purchased a Tato cabinet from him. Okay, so this is an original Elevator Action cabinet. The Elevator Action circuit board and this marquee were both in the Wizard of War cabinet. I had talked about that when I talked about the Wizard of War cabinet. When I had gotten the Wizard of War cabinet years and years ago, I literally paid like $150 for it, and it had the working Elevator Action in it. And this was the board, and this was the marquee out of the cabinet. There was a screen bezel, but they had cut it to fit that cabinet, so I had to get a new screen bezel for this one. I want to say I paid $150 for the cabinet. It was in pretty rough shape. What I ended up doing to this cabinet was I did all the bodywork and everything. I ended up putting a vertical grade laminate on the sides, black vertical grade laminate, and then I had the side art printed. The side art came from Galloping Ghost. They did the side art for this. They didn't offer the front art. So I called Dan at Escape Pod, and he did the front art for me. But when he did the front art, that was not correct. They had a couple different versions of the front art. And the front art that he had printed was, I don't know, reversed or something, or I don't know why it was weird. So what it ended up doing was the front of this cabinet was already painted. I painted it black. This is not laminate on the front here. I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I don't remember. But anyways, I ended up taking his artwork for the front, which he didn't charge me much for. I think he charged me like 20 or 30 bucks. I cut it apart and I just put the parts on there that I thought looked right. Control panel overlay, pretty sure we printed that ourselves. The screen bezel came from Dan at Escape Pod. It's reverse mounted onto plexiglass. I would love to have a glass one, but I don't think there's one available. So basically, we are running the original CRT monitor. I think it's a 4600. I think that's what came in these, but I'm not positive. I'd have to open it to check. But we're running the original board, original wiring harness. It's running a switching power supply. It is not running a Tato power supply. I have never in my life been able to get one working. I know Charlie from Overtime Arcade, I believe he got one working. I don't know if it's still working or not, but I'm pretty positive he did. So anyways, I want to say I paid $150 for the cabinet. The circuit board and the marquee came out of that other game, which I only paid $150 for that game. So we'll say $300. And then I probably have another $100 in miscellaneous artwork, $400. So I probably have $500 wrapped up into this Elevator Action cabinet, and it's in beautiful shape. It's all restored. These were really tricky to get. These side moldings were not easy to find. This cabinet didn't have them on it. Somebody had already robbed them. I ended up finding another Tato cabinet for like $50 and took these brackets and stuff out of that one and used it. I actually had multiple Tato cabinets. I had bought a bunch of them at one time, but I ended up picking the pieces that I needed, the best pieces for this and for Zookeeper to do that. I still have one more Tato cabinet that I'm aware of, maybe two, but I know there's at least one out there, and I think I want to do an alpine ski. I don't know why, but I just think I want to do it. I don't have a circuit board for alpine ski, but I know it's on the bit kit too, I believe, and I might just do that just to do it. I just think it's kind of a cool cabinet and stuff. So maybe I will take that other one and kind of turn it into that. You just don't see that game a lot. Doesn't seem like a lot of people have it, as far as I know. I mean, but I could be wrong. There might be more people that have it than I know. I mean, I might still continue to look for a circuit board. I haven't been actively looking for one anytime soon. I'm really wrapped up in the shop right now, working out there and trying to get more of it built and finished. So I haven't really had any time to work on the games or even play games in the past month. But anyways, so this came with the coin door. It even has a coin bucket inside. It has all that stuff. It works perfectly. Turned out really nice. So like I said, I think I have $500 if that's what I just said. I don't remember. But it's not a ton of money into it for a beautiful cabinet, and it works and it plays and everything else. So that's pretty much elevator action and what was done with that. Trying to think. When I was out there at this guy's house, his name was Brett. If I remember correctly, his name was Brett. And he made cabinets too. He CNC'd them. And also he made control panels. And maybe I have another $100 into this because this control panel might have came from him. I want to say that this did come from him, and I bought this control panel from him, and then I ended up having to make a control panel for somebody else, and I used this as a template. So I think I bought this off of him, and it was like $75 or $100 he charged me for it, if I remember correctly. So that's what it was, is I got 2 cabinets and a control panel overlay. So that's pretty much it with this. Oh, I put the high score saver on here, and it also plays a few other games, because I got the kit that plays a couple games. Let me see if I can remember how to do that. I don't know if I hold down player 2. I don't remember how to do it. Okay, you hold down player 1 and player 2. So this will play Elevator Action, Jungle King, Jungle Hunt, Pirate Pete, Time Tunnel, Space Seeker, and Sea Fighter Poseidon? I don't know what that is. But anyways, this is an original elevator action board, and it just has high score saver on it, so you can play those other games. I always have it boot right into elevator action. Nobody knows these games are on here unless I tell them. So if somebody's like, hey, do you have Jungle King or Jungle Hunt or Pirate Pete? I can say, yeah, I got it. And it plays just like the original one. So, once you figure out which game you want to play by scrolling up or down, you just hit the start button, and then it goes into that. So now it's back in elevator action. But it automatically boots right to elevator action. Okay, next. So that's pretty much it with the elevator action. Next to that, we have Jump Bug. This is an original Rockola cabinet. I do have the original board for this, but it's currently not working. So right now there's a bit kit in here, just turned on to Jump Bug. One day I'll probably get that other board fixed or try to fix it myself or something. I just not high on the priority list right now. But anyways, this came from the same guy. Coin door was in it. It had a monitor in it. It had some other game in here, I think. He might have took the circuit board out on this one. But all the brackets and everything were here when I got the cabinet. I had to repaint it. This is all actually spray paint. I wish I had videos back then of some of this stuff I did, and I just don't. The outside is vertical grade laminate. The side art came from this old game. I want to say it was only like 60 or 80 bucks. And the control panel overlay came from him as well. So let's just say 150 on the artwork. Not positive on that. I want to say the screen bezel came from Escape Pod. He made that. And then the marquee, we printed the marquee ourselves up top. So that's that. This is running a 4600 monitor. This bit kit plays identical to the original version. It in my opinion, I think it's dead on. I want to say I paid $200 for this cabinet. I had to buy laminate for the sides and all that stuff. Now that I'm trying to think here, I probably have $500-600 wrapped up into this whole game. This doesn't have a high score saver or anything like that. I don't even think they offer it for the original board, but it saves high scores because it has the bit kit in there. You can play other games on here. I don't have any other games on here. I just have this game. It automatically boots to it. You would never even know. And it has a free play on here by, I don't know if it was the second button. One of these buttons credited it. Yep. Okay, you got to hit this player 2 button rapidly twice, and it'll put a credit in there. So now it's set for 1 or 2 player. I love this game. Real fun game. Never really knew much about it until I watched John's Arcade video on it. And it just popped up one day on... I don't even remember how I found it, to be honest with you. Because I don't think the guy that I got it from even had it listed. I don't know why I even contacted the guy or what I was after. Maybe I was after some parts for the Tato cabinets. Like I said, this is years ago. I don't remember all the details. I remember who it was and where I went to get it, but I don't remember all the details. So once again, let's just say $600 into it. So, you know, the elevator action and this, I only have $600 into each of them, which I think is really good. I think this is a great game. I think it has really good replay value. Same thing with elevator action in those games. I like them. I could always go to these games and always want to play them. And always want to try to beat my high scores. I suck at Jump Bug right now. I haven't had a ton of time to play it. But my high score is only 28,200, which is bad. In elevator action, I don't even know if I have a high score on it. Yeah, I do. 44,000 something. But, so yeah, that's Jump Bug. I love the game. Like I said, eventually I'll probably try to get it going back onto the original hardware. Right now it has a JAMA harness in there. I didn't want to screw with any of the wiring or anything like that. So I put a JAMA harness in there with a switching power supply, and that's it. It runs perfect, like I said. I would not hesitate to use a bit kit board. I have no issues with them. Okay, now let's go over to Zookeeper here. Okay, Zookeeper. This cabinet came from Arcade Jason. Once again, years ago. This cabinet was pretty rough. The bottom was busted out. The bottom was falling apart. His son and me threw it in my van, and we barely got it in there without the bottom falling apart. Rebuilt all that. The original artwork was on the side of the cabinet. It was painted over with a textured paint. I could not get it off. I could not save the original artwork as hard as I wanted to try. I just could not get it to save. So I ended up stripping it down to the bare wood. Plus it was swelled up a little bit here and there. So I stripped it down to the bare wood and painted the whole cabinet. And then I had artwork printed. Trying to remember where the artwork came from. I want to say it came off of a guy from eBay that I had bought some stuff from, and I really like it. He did a really nice job on it. It has a nice satin laminate on top of it. I think it just looks really nice. Turned out really well. The marquee is an original glass marquee. That, I want to say I found it used somewhere. No. I wonder if Phoenix Arcade had that. I'm not sure on that. I think the screen and the marquee came from Phoenix Arcade. I'm pretty sure they sell it. The control panel overlay, we printed that ourselves. All these games are running the original style leaf switch joysticks. Original CRTs and all that. This has all the original boards in it. They do not work. They're all on the back door like they're supposed to be. The metal plates there and everything. This is running a J-Rock board right now, but it has all the original equipment in there. Like I said, it's just not currently working. Whether or not I ever get it running, I don't know. Once again, low on my priority list. Okay, this has the right plastic bezel in here. to light up these instructions. Elevator action doesn't right now, but I do have the right plastic bezel to put in there. I just need to get to it, and then I can light that one up as well. This has the tracks in it. I believe this didn't have tracks in it either when I got it from Jason. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't remember. Coin door was on it. This is the original control panel. Somebody had drilled more holes in it. I had to weld them all in, smooth it all out, flatten it all out, and all that good stuff. One of my top 5 favorite games down here is Zookeeper. I think it plays great on the J-Rock board. No issues whatsoever. Trying to think what else. Oh, all these games, I run the original power switches and everything. So this actually has the original switch under here to turn it on and off. But I know a lot of the operators back in the 80s and 90s, they would disconnect those. Because I think on some of these games, when you first powered it on, you'd get a credit. So I think kids were turning the games on and off to get a credit. So I know a lot of these were disconnected. But this and also elevator action, I made sure to rehook those up in the bottom of the cabinet. So this cabinet, I want to say I got the cabinet for $150. I probably have $400, maybe $500 in artwork. And then I have a J-Rock board in there. And then the Zookeeper boards, I want to say I have $500 into them. So I probably have a good $1,000 to $1,200, probably $1,200 or so wrapped up into this game. But it's an awesome game. I love it, and I don't ever see me getting rid of it. Once again, great replay value. I think it's well worth it. If somebody's thinking about maybe getting one of these or don't want to spend the money to get a real one, I wouldn't hesitate to get the J-Rock board at all. I think it works great. And zero issues with it. So that's pretty much Zookeeper. My T-molding's loose up here. I need to put some hot glue in there. The wood is the groove in the wood up top here. It's a little loose. But the top of this cabinet, when I got it, it was pretty water damaged up here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this took a lot of body working. But that's the original piece. I fixed it up there. And it's a nice solid cabinet now. Works great. Every once in a while, that screen when I first turn it on, the screen will scroll. So I might have to do a slight adjustment to the CRT. But so that's Zookeeper. Like I said, that came from Arcade Jason in Youngstown. Next game here. So that pretty much wraps up this island of games right here. There's going to be another island of games over there in the future once I get to them. But anyways, let's go on to Asteroids Deluxe. This came from a buddy of mine. He had it in his shop. I paid $150 for it. It was not working. I got it home. Realized that the board was messed up at the time. This is years and years ago. There were some of the transformers on the case of the monitor were shorted out. Replaced those. The board was not working correctly. I ended up finding a board. Somebody had one for sale on Facebook for $200. I just bought it. I still have the original board. It's just in a box right now. Haven't had a chance to look at it or mess with it or anything like that. But anyways, as far as this goes, so I bought it for $150. I bought a board for $200. I probably spent $50 on miscellaneous parts for the monitor, and that's all working great. All the artwork in the back, the screen bezel and the marquee are all original, came in the cabinet. We printed a new control panel overlay. These are new buttons. The buttons that were in here were completely cigarette burned and screwed up. So these were like $70 for the pair of buttons back then. I need to change this one. There's two carriage bolts that hold this control panel on. This one, I must have not had another black one, and there's a silver one in here. I need to change that out. Coin door, original to the cabinet. When I got this cabinet, the side art was peeling off, so I peeled all the artwork off, and we printed the side art as well. I went with blue T-molding on the front. Just thought it looked cool. I don't have a ton of money wrapped up into this game. Maybe $400 or so. Now this game, I wanted to try something different. I didn't paint the sides of the cabinet. I sanded the particle board down really smooth and put the artwork over it, and I'll never do that again. If you look closely here at the artwork, I got some scuffs just from moving it and stuff, but I don't know if I can get it to show. But you can actually see the particle board through the artwork. You can actually see all like the little bubbles in the particle board through the artwork. I'll never do that again. I learned my lesson on that. Figured, oh, this will be a lot easier and quicker. Well, it turned out it didn't. Okay, so this game has honestly been working really well. I did have an issue with it the past 2 years. Of course, every time we have a New Year's party, this game likes to break. And I found out what it was finally. I thought the monitor was overheating, which I think it was. Something weird was happening. Like the game would coin up, but the monitor wasn't on. So I figured it was a monitor issue. But then I ended up finding out that it went dead completely, and this thing was just beeping, just nonstop beeping. And I unplugged it and just didn't screw with it for a long time. And then I ended up opening it up and pushing on the chips on the board, and the game popped on. So I need to actually take the board out, pull the chips out of the board, clean all the sockets and everything, and reinstall them. Oh, I did have one other issue with this game. I had an issue with the volume, the noises, the volume and all that, the sound. It got really quiet, and there's an amplifier on the power supply that was bad, and I ended up changing that, and that solved that problem. I wanted to say I bought an extra one or two for the boards in case I ever had the problem in the future. But other than that, it's a really cool game. I never bought a high score saver for it. I should buy one. I'm pretty sure they still make them, but I'm not positive. I have to look it up. But I want to put one on here. I think I love having those on my games. It makes me want to play them more because it just makes it interesting, you know, especially when somebody comes over and they put a high score in your game. Of course you want to play. You want to try to beat their game, you know what I mean? Or if you have people over and you guys are kind of competing with each other, it's nice to be able to save it. And it saves, you know, for a long period of time. So that's pretty much it with the Asteroids. This was 15 minutes from my house. So it was an easy pickup. Grabbed it. Got it up and running. I think I literally got it, brought it in my shops, tore it apart, did the body work, put it all back together, artwork and everything in a week. And it wasn't even a full week. It was just a few hours here and there. It's a cool game, really cool game. I had some blue transparent vinyl that I put over the screen rather than the original greenish color. That type of clear greenish plastic that sits on the monitor, it was pretty scuffed up and crappy looking. So I had this stuff and I put it on there, and I kind of like it better. I kind of like the blue rather than the greenish color. It's kind of hard to see because I got the lights on down here, but I think it's pretty cool looking. Okay, so now last game we are going to talk about today, which I don't know how long this will stay down here. I don't think I'll never get rid of the cabinet, but I might move it out to my shop or something in the future. This is the second arcade cabinet I ever built. This has 10 plus years ago. This is running my original Nintendo from when I was a kid. So down here, there's a door that opens up, and there's my original Nintendo down there. And then I have a bunch of my original Nintendo games. So I can just swap out whatever game I want to play on my Nintendo and just put it in there, and that's all you got to do. The controls, what I did with the controls was I went on eBay and I ordered 2 remote controls. I didn't want to cut my original remote controls up. I didn't want to take them apart and bust them up and stuff like that. So I went on eBay and I bought 2 controllers. They were like $10 a piece. And I took the controllers themselves apart. They still plug into the front of the Nintendo. I took the controller covers off, and I found out what each solder connection on the control on the circuit board did, and I soldered a wire to them. And then I simply just took those wires and ran them to my micro switch buttons. So, you know, it plays great, works good, joystick works just fine. Everything works great on it, and it's pretty cool to be able to have my original Nintendo as a kid still up and running and working. I have next to nothing into this. This control panel overlay, all that artwork is all hand painted. I hand painted all this artwork. This is before we had a vinyl printer. So I did all that by hand by just taping it off and painting it. As far as the Nintendo logo, we did that ourselves up there for the marquee. I took a piece of clear plexiglass. I used some frosted spray paint on the backside, and then this is just some vinyl that we had cut out a long time ago when we had a Cricut vinyl cutter back in the day. And we just took red vinyl and cut that out. The bottom artwork, I think I just bought that on eBay for like 25 bucks or something like that, and just stuck it to the lower front of the cabinet. But that's pretty much it. There's no artwork on the sides of the cabinet or anything like that. That's just plain gray. What we did to match the paint was I took my Nintendo up to the paint store, automotive paint store, and we matched the light gray and then the dark gray. And then as far as a monitor, that's a TV, a 24-inch TV. I paid $100 for it at Walmart. But I wish I wouldn't have got that back then. I didn't know you need a remote to turn it on off. I might eventually switch that out to a regular monitor, computer monitor, but I'm just not sure. Okay, so on top of this cabinet, we have a couple 3D printed bullets that my buddy David did. Somebody bought me that Nintendo cup, and that's just an empty switch box. And then my buddy David 3D printed these two cup holders, which look like the green pipes coming out of the game. So that's pretty cool. What else? I think I don't know if I have any other 3D printed stuff on top of these other games. No, I do not. Okay, so basically that's these 5 games here. Next week we're going to talk about Neo Geo, Frogger, Track and Field, and then probably we'll talk about those 3, Silver Strike and the bags. Maybe we'll save the Golden Tee for the following week. We could probably just touch base on the Legends pinball. Nothing fancy, nothing great or anything like that. To just get on there and just play a quick game of pinball, it's okay. I mean, it's not by any means real pinball, but it does what it does. It's kind of just taking up a space. Maybe in the future I'll put it in the shop, and probably going to need this corner right here for another couple of games anyways. So maybe I'll just stick this and this in my back building just to kind of have them out there. I didn't pay a ton of money for that. It was on sale at Sam's Club years ago, and I don't really think it's worth selling it because it's not really worth much. So I think it's just something I'll hang on to. Same thing with the Nintendo cabinet. Just kind of keep them out there, maybe just play them here and there. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's those 5 games, and then like I said, we'll do these next week. And then let's walk over here. I'll show you this. We'll kind of work our way. Somebody had asked me if I would talk about my 90s games, and I already have talked about the Mortal Kombat 3 and the Carnival King, which I believe was late 90s, maybe early 2000s. But yeah, we'll get into some of these newer games. I don't have a ton of them. But, these are all newer. 90s. Those Need for Speed Undergrounds should be early 2000s, I think. Then we have the Harley Davidson game. Then we have the Road Burners, which I think are late 90s. I'm not sure on the Route 66. I don't remember how old that is. We still got all these classics to talk about. We got the Williams games on the other side to talk about. So we got a couple more videos to talk about down here. And then somebody had asked me, actually, guy I know on Facebook, he's been messaging me quite a bit here and there, and we talk, and I had gave him all the measurements, and I made him a paper template of the side art. I guess he's going to build himself a Wizard of War cabinet, and so I took some red rosin paper and I traced the side of the cabinet for him, and then I wrote down all the measurements. He had messaged me the other day and asked me if I would do a video of what the inside of this cabinet looks like. And I said, sure, definitely, I'll do a video for you. So at some point I am going to be doing a video of the inside of the Wizard of War cabinet, showing you how all the components are in there and how they all fit together and the wiring and all that. I believe I have everything in the right spots. But, this was converted from elevator action back to Wizard of War, so I'm not sure if everything's 100% in the same spot. I've got quite a few things I need to get fixed down here, and I need to get to them Need to really spend a whole weekend and just work down here and get this stuff caught up. But unfortunately, I just don't have the time right now. I will have the time in the future. That's why I've been kind of doing these videos, because it kind of gives me a chance to do some a video, at least one video a week of doing something on this channel, because I'm just so busy right now. So I wanted to at least show you guys, you know, where these games have come from, what I've done to them. Some of these games in these areas there's videos on, so you can obviously see that. So on this, I need to change this chip out on the widget board, I think they call it. This is supposed to fix my joystick issue. So Arcade Jason told me to order this, and I just have not had a chance to do it. I don't remember if it's a socketed chip or if it's soldered onto the board. If it's soldered onto the board, I'll make a video on it. But if it's soldered onto the board, I'm gonna socket it and then stick this in there, because I don't like to just take a new chip and solder it right to the board. I think that's a bad idea. I think you should always socket them. I just think that's the way to go. So I got to get that fixed, and I have some other things that need fixed. I know Moon Patrol's a little bit sketchy here and there. I need to work on that. That's like a sound issue, I think. And that could just be something simple as reseating the chips in the board. I'm not sure. But all right, guys, that's going to end this video. So basically today we talked about elevator action, jump bug, Zookeeper, Asteroids Deluxe, and my original Nintendo as a kid. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week.